So we have completed loops. Now let's come to functions. So a function is a block of code which runs when it is called. So we can pass data which is known as a parameter into the function, and a function can return data as a result. In Python, we will be using the def keyword for this. So we say def my function. You will have these curly brackets here, and then we can print hello, this is a function, right? And if you want to call the function, then you can simply write the function name, which is my function, and then it will return the result to you. So without a print statement. Now information is passed into functions as arguments. Now arguments are specified after the function name inside the parentheses, and you can add as many arguments as you want, but remember you have to separate them with a comma. So let's take an example. We want to write def my function, and let's call this f name, and we will print f name plus and then we will say my function with an underscore, and this will be AMIL. Let's just copy this one more time and let's call this Tobias. So the result comes as this, right? So I'll just change it into something that makes much more sense. Let's just call this is the name, right? So you get the result like this. All right. Let's take one more example. Here we will take two arguments. So we have my function, which has f name and l name. And we will say that we want to print f name concatenate with a space and then concatenate with the l name. And if we write my function and we simply write, let's say Emil and Johnson, then the result comes as Emil Johnson like this. Okay, now sometimes you will not know how many arguments you want to pass into a function. For this, we use something called args, which is ARGS, and you put a asterisk to denote this, right? So this is how we'll do it. Let's say that my function, now we don't know how many kids somebody has, so we put an asterisk and say kids, and now we can say print the youngest the children are, let's just make it simple, so the children are, and let me put a space and then concatenate, and now we say kids and 2. So when we run the function my function, we will now be able to write, let's say Emil and Tobias, and when we run we are getting an error. Let me just check once. Okay, we need a colon here. So there's something incorrect. Let me just verify. That's strange. Everything seems all right. You know what? Let me change it to 1. Okay. So we can do it like this. So I can say 1 and we get Tobias. If I put 0, then we get Emil like this. Right? So remember, this is very, very important. This is what we also call as args, it's actually arbitrary. Let me just write it for you. These are arbitrary arguments, right? And they're shortened to args in Python documentation. Let's do one more example. So we say my function, and this time we will say child1 and child2 and child3. Let's just reverse the order. And we want to print. So we say the youngest child is plus child 3. So when we say my function, we can say child 1 is equal to ml, and we say that child 2 is equal to Tobias, and we say that child 3 is equal to Linus, and we run this and we get the youngest child is Linus, like this. Okay, let's see what else I can show you. So you can even have default parameters. So we say my function, which is country, is equal to Norway. So what we're doing is we're taking a default parameter here and we say that print I am from plus the country, like this. After that, we can say my function and we can say India, and we just copy this one more time and we say Sweden. And in the third one, I want to keep a blank. So I'll simply say my function without anything. And in the final one, we will say my function and something else. So we say Ghana. So when we run this, you will notice that one second, is there a mistake that I'm making? Let me just check. So def my function country is equal to Norway. Okay, I forgot the colon here. And as you can see, we are getting I am from Norway in the third one because we did not provide any input from our side. All right. So we can also pass a list as an argument. So we can say def my function and food. And we say that for x in food, we want to print x. And then we say that fruits is equal to apple and banana. And then we run my function fruits. It will result in apple and banana like this, right? So we're writing a function and we are putting the argument as fruits, but the fruit is actually a list of fruits that I've taken. If you want a function to return a value, you can use the return statement. Okay, so we will say print my function and then 3. And if you see the result will be 15. But if I copy this a few times, let's make this 7 and let's make this 11. You notice we get 15, 35 and 55, right? Okay, let's see what else I can tell you. Yeah, I think that should be good for now. In the next lecture, we will work with Lambda and arrays.